One of the guest panelists here at the Montreal thematic meeting on metropolitan areas is lead urban specialist of the World Bank, Mr. Victor Vergara. Now, Mr. Vergara manages, among other initiatives, the Global Metropolitan Lab. For close to 25 years, he has been focused on metropolitan development, the financing, the urban planning required, and the management of capacity building initiatives. He's led programs in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Very nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
So you manage this Global Metropolitan Lab. What does it do exactly?
Well, it seeks to foster knowledge exchange between cities, because when cities learn from one another, the lessons stick. We began in New York.
Some city to begin in.
4 years ago, with an institution called RPA, Regional Plan Association. The institution has been around almost 100 years, and they've done 4 plans, one every 20 years. They invited the World Bank to invite about a dozen of our closest cities that we work with to take part in the launch of the 4th regional plan for New York. And since that event in April 3 years ago, we have had many other subsequent events, and we've built a community of practice. Cities that learn from one another because they trust each other.
Community of practice, that's lovely. So what are some of the more recent projects you're working on?
Well, within the Metro Lab, we began in New York, and we had our next lab was very important in Mumbai, with the Mumbai Metropolitan Region, as they are preparing their 3rd plan, and they wanted to bounce ideas and hear about new initiatives that were relevant to them. We then had a very large event in Seoul. Seoul Metropolitan Government is very innovative, and they've done incredible things. Like Montreal, they've hosted the Olympics, and that was one of their big, items that made reform happen and modernization.
Yeah, it's always a catalyst for development and for change and for
yes,
initiatives.
Sometimes a catalyst is just smart people wanting to do things, not necessarily an event.
Okay.
But it helps. From there, we went to Dar es Salaam in Africa. Very wonderful event that helped the Dar es Salaam fine-tune the design of a World Bank finance initiative. And more recently, we were in Paris with a climate change lab in preparation for the COP event in December. And we'll be, in a few weeks, we'll be in Rio de Janeiro for our first laboratory in Latin America.
So you've held workshops in developing countries. What do you see as the biggest difference in management of metropolitan areas in developed versus developing countries?
I think the biggest difference is the velocity.
Really?
The velocity of change that is taking place. Everything is being compressed. I mean, you could argue that what has happened in the past in developed cities in maybe 10 or 20 years, it's happening in our cities in 1 year. It's very fast.
When you say our cities, you mean developing?
Developing country cities, because infrastructure is being built very quickly, markets are growing, and most of all, the population growth is explosive. So cities are growing, and typically they're growing in population, but the surface area of the cities is growing 3 and 4 times faster. So it is important to get growth right in cities, because you lock in to an urban form that can be efficient or not. And most cities do it slowly so they can pick up mistakes and correct.
Test and trial and test.
But if you do things very fast, and then you look, you blink and then you look the other way, and then it's all done, and the mistake is almost irreversible.
Okay, so that means there's lots of work for your Global Metropolitan Lab, isn't there, Mr. Vergara?
Yes, there's a lot of work for it's a community of practice, so it's the members that make it work. We are conveners, we facilitate, but they're the ones that come together to learn from one another and exchange ideas.
Okay, well, we wish you much success with this laboratory.
Thank you very
for
much.
this. Thank you.